Wednesday night at the old ball yard. The Rockies concluding a 9-game homestand, and they've been enjoying themselves all season long against the San Francisco Giants. The Rockies at 12-4 against San Francisco, just the third time in franchise history, so 25 years that they've won 11 or more in a single season against the Giants. The Rockies come in 10 games north of 500 at 74-64. Some final thoughts for Kyle Freeland before he puts the hat on and gallops to the mound. The Giants are 54-87. It is a perfect night for baseball. Not quite as cool as it was last night, but you can feel autumn around the corner.
It's fall baseball is what it means, and it's going to be up to Kyle Freeland tonight to kind of channel his inner being against the Giants. Both of these games at Coors Field, 13 innings pitched, just 1 earned run allowed, 6 hits in the first game, 8 hits in the second, and really felt it. I mean, he had good pitches on both of those games with his fastball, his cutter, his slider. Overall on the year, 11-9 here at Coors Field, 6-6 with a 3.48 ERA, 13 quality starts, 9 of them have come in his 14 starts at home at Coors Field. We know what he throws. We know he throws the fastball, the cut fastball, the changeup, and the slider. Wasn't very efficient in his last start, probably his last couple starts with the slider and the cut fastball. I had a chance to talk to Kyle a couple days ago after he had his side session. So what are you going to work on? What'd you work on coming into this game? He said, I really need to get back in that field, finish out in front a little bit more, make sure that my arm, my glove arm, is going directionally to home plate. So that's what I'll take a look at early in this game.
Well, he has, as you said, very good numbers, not only at Coors Field, but against San Francisco. Here's the Southwest lineup that the Giants will present. You'll notice very quickly Buster Posey with that sore finger. We're happy to report Buster did not break the finger last night. The x-rays were negative. He's not in the lineup. Gorkys Hernandez will lead off, and then this guy, Joe Panik, 7 for 9 in the series, hitting well over 500 at Coors Field this year. Hunter Pence will bat third. Nick Hundley hit a ball to the track in his pitching appearance in the 9th inning last night. He'll be batting cleanup. Then it's Crawford, Austin Slater, Kelby Tomlinson at third. Ryder Jones will bat 8th and play first base. And the veteran right-hander and a good one in Johnny Cueto. So here's Gorkys Hernandez. It's a 256 average into the ballpark tonight. The other thing that bears repeating with Kyle Freeland, that 3.89 ERA, a guy who spends half his time at Coors Field. National pundits always seem to take away for the offensive exploits. Well, this young man has the lowest ERA of any rookie starting pitcher in baseball, and it's September 6th, 3.89. He's been that good. First pitch of the ball game swung on and missed.
Also just 2 strikeouts away from 100 on the season.
Just really solid. And he gets weak contact to third. Nolan waits on the hop, and Hernandez is out by a stride and a half. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. The only notable change is Tony Walters is doing the catching tonight. After Jonathan Lucroy caught the first couple of ball games. Arenado, Story, LeMahieu, and Desmond at first. That's somewhat of a change. Obviously, Reynolds plays there most of the time. Desi, the reason he was picked up, one of the many reasons, his versatility. He's played short. We've seen him in left field, and now at first base.
Yeah, this will be his 15th start tonight at first base.
Well, Joe Panik right now, it must look like a beach ball coming up there.
You know what you do? This is where you kind of say, you tell him what's coming.
Fastball.
Fastball. So then he's like, well, right. Is it really going to be a fastball, or is it going to be a cutter? Is it a slider? Are they messing with me?
He's on some kind of tear, and there's no cheapies. I mean, he has squared everything up in this series. That pitch just
that
missed.
Pitch.
1-1.
Well, according to Subaru strike zone, it should have been a strike.
Here's the 1-1 to Panik, and that's fastball with some late life.
That was a tie-me-up fastball. It's a real late swing from Joe Panik.
3 hits on Monday, 4 hits last night for Panik. Here's the 1-2. And that ball down the left field line, he thinks it's going foul, and it is. You want to know fair or foul? Watch the hitter.
They'll always
nobody
tell
knows
you.
better, right?
Yep. Anytime it goes down the lines, you and I do the same thing. We just see what's happening at home plate. Is he running or is he not?
Kyle studying the signs. He's set. Another 1-2 and another base hit for Panik.
Unbelievable.
Crazy. They may seriously have to adopt your idea. The heck with the signs. Just yell out.
Right,
slider, cutter,
slider,
fastball. Can't be worse, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. At least maybe get him to wondering.
Maybe he's going to get tired. Arms,
from running,
legs,
swinging.
Wow. Hunter Pence steps up, batting third tonight. He was 0 for 3 in a walk yesterday. 0 for 7 so far in the series. Kyle Freeland will try to keep it that way. Misses there, 1-0 on Pence. He was drafted out of junior college in the 40th round. 2 years later, out of Texas Arlington, he was a second-round pick. 3 years later, in 07, he made his debut in late April. Hit over 319 home runs for Houston, and he became a baseball household name.
A guy that was traded to a couple times. His clubs wanted him.
Philadelphia,
yeah,
when they were making a run.
Yeah, they liked his energy. Then San Francisco.
He's a winning player. Not only because of his ability, but he brings a lot of life to the clubhouse, a ton of energy naturally.
Yeah, some people in the state of Pennsylvania wanted to rename the state Pennsylvania.
Remember that?
Yep.
And Hunter is going into next year, hit the last year of a very lucrative deal. And unfortunately, he's dealt with a lot of injuries the last couple years, 3 of the last 4. Way outside. Now it's 3-0. Chatwood dealt with some early traffic yesterday. The key for Tyler is he got double play ground balls on a couple of occasions. A couple big strikeouts mixed in also for Chatty. And that's off the plate. Now we have a little bit of an issue. First and second, 1 out with Nick Hundley coming up. And Nick has hit lefties very well this year.
He's no Buster Posey, but still, Nick has been a valuable piece that they picked up this offseason for the Giants.
I think the last couple of years, and we saw it in a Rockies uniform, I think Nick may be a better offensive player now.
Agreed.
Than he's ever been. And he always had moments in San Diego when he played for Buddy. He's not a guy that you just threw cookies to. This is a guy with some pop in his bat. But I just feel like he's a better hitter than he's ever been.
Well, I think he got out of Petco where really to hit it, it would have to be on the pull side. So he got a little pull happy. But when he was with the Rockies, he would wear out that right center field gap. So he's kind of carried it over now.
Yeah. He's hitting 329, as Alan Porter says. That's a strike. He's hitting 329 against lefties. Nick asked Alan where it was, and he approved of his description. Evidently, he's nodding. Yeah. Well, good thing about Kyle, he gets a lot of ground balls when he's on. That's another good looking pitch. It's 0-2.
Almost identical spots on the Subaru strike zone. Both of them down and in. The only thing you can do with that pitch as a hitter is really just roll over on it.
Panik at second, Pence at first, just underway at Coors Field. 1-2.
For this next pitch, you know, they've gone inside a couple times. It might be the case where he's going to try to backdoor something. You know, whether it's the slider or the cutter.
Freeland's Huntley's 4 for 9 against Freeland. This is going to be a tough hop to pick up, and no play. You saw that coming a mile away.
Yep.
And a rare error for Nolan. And he wanted to get to it because he's thinking too, isn't he?
Yes, he wants to try to get it on the short hop so he can tag the runner that's coming in towards him. So he tries to stop so he can tag the runner, but notice where the eyes went. They didn't look into the glove. On the Subaru Supermo, you can see the eyes have already tried to pick up the base runner instead of seeing it all the way in the glove and then applying the tag. That'll be the 7th error this year on Nolan. I think if he stays back, you still have a chance to turn 2 with the old 5-4-3 double play with Nick running.
Sometimes you're a victim of your own brilliance.
Yes.
And I think that's what happened there. That's a strike on Brandon Crawford. Where there's so many third basemen say, you know what, it's not hit hard enough. I'm going to be conservative. I'm just going to get an out.
Right.
Nolan's thinking creatively. I may tag and go to first. His brain is the beautiful brain is moving so quickly, and that time it may have tied him up. Freeland will try to pick him up. 1 ball, 1 strike.
With as many great plays as Nolan makes, it's kind of hard to argue with his logic and what he was thinking.
Yep.
Now he's thinking, please hit me another one, okay? I want to be able to turn another ball and get out of this.
1-2 on Crawford. Huey mentioned that Freeland's just 2 strikeouts from 100 this year, which is a nice round figure. He's had his moments where he has struck guys out. He had 9 strikeouts against the White Sox in a ball game. He had 7 strikeouts recently in a game against Milwaukee, but typically it's ground balls. He's not a huge strikeout guy.
No, he's one of the tops in ground ball percentage.
Got him here.
There you go.
That'll work. You know, that's one of those situations where if you can get a punch out, you want to punch out. 2 outs.
And he probably pitched Brandon Crawford as well as he's pitched anybody in this game. It started that big sweeping slider. Crawford's reaching for it the whole time and just couldn't catch up to it.
So that'll bring up Austin Slater. Just came back from a rehab assignment and was reinstated yesterday. He missed 52 games with a right groin strain.
It's got some pop.
Back up the middle, a base hit. Pence around third. He's going to score. And it is 2-0. So he went with an aggressive approach, and his first swing in a couple of months results in a couple of RBIs for San Francisco.
Both those runs will be unearned, but it's still Slater's treating this almost like a pinch hit. Gets the first pitch. I've missed a lot of time. I'm not going to wait around. Right back up the middle, scoring. Panic and Pence.
One of the notes I'd made on the game tonight is the Rockies were sloppy in that Arizona series, uncharacteristically so in a lot of areas, but particularly on defense. And the first 2 ball games against the Giants, they played typical Rockies defense. They were clean. And unfortunately, you get the error from the most unlikely source here in the first inning, and now the Rockies will have to play uphill against a really good pitcher in Johnny Cueto. 0-1 on Kelby Tomlinson. Key here is to put this inning down now. I'm going to put up a crooked number. 2 strikes on Tomlinson.
Even with that error by Nolan, they're still just their 65th error of the season. They're 2nd in the National League in all of baseball. Miami's number 1.
They were number 1 5 days ago, but slipped behind the Marlins with number of errors they had over the weekend against Arizona. 0-2 on Tomlinson. This is back up the middle. This is a tough play. DJ, did he get the out? Yes. Good coordination with Story. That was his only play. So that force out will end the inning. There was a hit, there was a couple of hits, a walk and an error. 2-0 Giants. Trying to get the timing as he watches Johnny Cueto warm up. Here's the Southwest batting order times for Buddy Black. DJ will hit behind Charlie, you know that. The change, the notable one, is Cargo back in a familiar spot for him. He's hitting the 3 spot more frequently than any other spot in his major league career. Then it's Nolan, Gerardo Parra, Ian Desmond will bat 6, Trevor Story, Tony Walters, and Kyle Freeland. 2-0 San Francisco. Johnny Cueto, he's another guy that missed some time, a combination of injuries. He had blister issues, and then he had a mild strain of the flexor muscle in his forearm. So this is just his second start in the last month and change.
Yeah, he allowed just 2 runs on 4 hits in the 5 1/3 innings that he pitched against the Cardinals after he came back missing 45 ball games. He'll give you a little bit of a shimmy and a shake too when he goes back, a little Louis Tion to go way back where he'll turn his back all the way to home, and they're not quite sure what you're going to get out of all of that. Could be a fastball, a cutter, changeup, slider. Probably the one thing you won't see a lot of, curveballs.
I've always felt when he's right, and he is more often than not, he's one of the top half-dozen pitchers in baseball. Top 10 certainly. He's got a devastating changeup. Charlie's got good numbers against him. It's down low. Charlie's hitting .313, 10 for 32 of the home run against Cueto, who's 24-12 in his career with the Giants.
The last time he faced the Rockies was here at Coors Field. At 5 innings, 8 hits, he gave up 6 earned runs.
It's one of the few times the Rockies have really gotten after him. Hopefully that occurs again tonight. And this is on 1 hop. Hit sharply, but right at Panic. Let's take a look at San Francisco defensively. Slater is in left field. He had the 2-run single a moment ago. Gorkys Hernandez playing center. Pence naturally in right. Nick Hundley's doing the catching for Posey. He does play quite a bit. Posey, especially with the injury to Belt's, been playing some first base. Tomlinson, Crawford, Panic, and Ryder Jones in the infield. Kind of lower third defensively this year. Some areas they're really strong. Up the middle in particular.
Crawford and Panic.
Posey when he's back there. Nick obviously solid receiver. 1 strike on LeMahieu. He's got a 13-game hitting streak. DJ another big ball game yesterday. Walked and scored in the first, singled and scored in the 6th, and then he followed up Cargo's pinch double in the 8th with an RBI double. which was huge because last night the Rockies seemingly had a comfortable 6-1 lead, and then all of a sudden it was 7-6 Colorado, and everybody's white knuckling it. And at the bottom of the 8th inning, Cargo and LeMahieu come through and give the Rockies and ultimately Greg Holland a 3-run cushion. 2-1 on LeMahieu, and this ball's in the air to Pence and right. 2 gone, and that will bring up Cargo.
The Rockies last night had 6 2-out RBIs.
Now Carlos Gonzalez hitting 3rd, and he was asked about moving back to the 3 spot this afternoon.
I think at this point it's not about hitting 3rd. It's just, I think it's about, you know, getting wins, and, you know, every time I get the opportunity to be in the lineup, I want to help this club win, and it doesn't matter if it's hitting 3rd, 4th, or last, you know, or pinch hitting like the way I did it last night. Anytime you get the job done is, you know, that's what's important for me and for this club.
That's what you expect to hear from Carlos.
And I think that's been his mantra all year long.
Yep, I would agree with you.
Ouch.
Man.
Get him in the ribs?
Yeah, it looked like it. Cargo didn't include that in his narrative a moment ago about helping the club by getting hit, but
wearing one, he didn't say that.
Yeah.
Subaru Supermo doesn't take any of the sting out of it. Even though you slow it down, still catches those ribs. Ow, you just see the look on his face.
You know, you don't want to get hit anywhere, but you really don't want to get hit in the ribs.
No, there's nothing there.
No padding.
There's no padding, at least on the backside. You wear it in the leg, your back.
And even if you get it in the upper arm, sore, but there's some flesh there.
And then sure, he makes you dive back over to first.
Well, Cargo really good numbers against Cueto. 343 in his career. Nolan has struggled against Johnny Cueto. He's not alone. 5 for 26, does own a home run. Inside on Arenado. Nolan a 3-hit ball game yesterday. His first since July 31st.
Just don't think I mean, no, because when you look at his numbers, 306, 30, and 112. But it just tells you he's steady Eddie every single day. Now 30 home runs and 40 doubles on the season.
I said it a moment ago, Huey. He's a victim sometimes of his own brilliance and his own success. We saw it defensively where the brain was going so quickly a moment ago. And I think offensively, he puts such extraordinary pressure on himself. I mean, he thinks he should drive in 200 runs a year. And that's a wonderful thing. There aren't many guys who think that way.
Or would want to be in that situation all the time.
So on the rare occasion, it seems like where he doesn't come through, I mean, it is particularly painful for him. There are all kinds of personalities in this beautiful game. There are some guys that really truly have things roll off their back. That rare guy that, you know what, he can shake off the 0 for 15. You wouldn't know it by his demeanor.
And I don't know how he does it.
Right.
That's not the way I'm wired.
No, it wasn't. I know it wasn't the way you were wired. It's not the way Nolan's wired. It's not the way most guys are wired. You know who was wired that way? Vinny Castilla. Most guys, it's a 162 game grind outside, 3 and 2.
You're always trying to perfect your swing, always trying to, you know, what advantage, what can I do today?
You know that old
day after day after day.
You know the old line coaches have about, especially in football, that winning is just a relief and the losing is devastating.
Yeah.
It's almost like the hits are a relief. 3-2, swung on and missed. Cueto strikes out Nolan. That ends the first. The Giants up 2-0. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores, by UC Health, Live Extraordinary, and by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Pretty Wednesday evening in Lodo. The Rockies gave up 2 unearned runs in the first. Here's Ryder Jones batting 8th, then he takes a slider for a strike. Kyle Freeland has faced Ryder Jones before. He's retired him. The 2 plate appearances that Jones has against Kyle. 1 ball, 1 strike.
With Buster's injury last night, I think he would have been at first base tonight, and Nick would have been behind the plate. Ryder wouldn't be in the lineup with the left-hander. You said good news that his finger was just a bruise. The way he was hopping around last night, it looked like it was much, much worse than that.
Not only the way he was hopping around, but the fact that as the training staff came out, Boch came out, he just walked off the field
immediately.
He didn't even want it to be examined. 1-2, swung on and missed. Good pitch by Freeland. He strikes out Jones. That'll bring up Johnny Cueto. Here's last night, the foul tip.
Right off the ring finger on his right hand. He said that was one of the worst foul tips he's had off his hand, and he just kind of shows the trainer, says, that's it, let's go, let's get some x-rays.
See it bandaged up a little bit. Sitting with Denard Span. Rockies happy Span's not playing tonight also.
Right. You got half of the dynamic duo at the top of the lineup out of there. Panic's already got a hit tonight, though.
Johnny's never been much of a threat at the plate. Takes a strike. Alan Porter is calling balls and strikes. We told you that. Chris Siegel's at first. Joe West is at second. Andy Fletcher at third.
That was a fake. He wasn't going to lay down a bunt. 081 on the year, 106 for his career batting average for Cueto.
Johnny looked over there, almost hoping that Alan Porter called that strike 3.
Just let me go back to the dugout.
Let me out of prison here. 2-2. Giants just 22-49 on the road. That's the worst mark in the National League. Rockies trying to hand him their 50th road loss. Johnny got it in play. And Johnny just now getting to first base. There you go. Jose Aguasil's like, really, dude? What'd you have him up the line in? You 9.7?
9.6.
Yeah.
Might have been a little fast,
Usain
though.
Bolt covers 100 meters faster. He's not around to swing the bat, obviously. 2 outs. That'll bring up Hernandez. Fans join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts, photos, questions on Twitter or Instagram at AT&T Sportsnet RM. And don't forget to use the hashtag Toyota Talk.
The first time through the lineup for Kyle Freeland, he was 8 for 9 in first pitch strikes, including the last 6 guys he faced.
Got Hernandez did a weak ground ball to third to begin the ball game.
There you go, the announcer jinx. Just jinxed him.
It's your fault. Twitter, I hope. Listen, I hope you blow up Jeff Houston.
You know what I said? I wish I had that much control over it.
Ground ball to short. Story sets his spikes and throws a strike to Ian Desmond. Very good second inning for Kyle Freeland. Middle of 2, the Giants up 2-0.
off, Gerardo Parra also has a unique way of enjoying the everyday routine of batting practice. Check out our Rock Your Routine, brought to you by UC Health.
Check, 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 1, 2, check.
Suave, 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 like dance. Woo, woo. Do you like that program that you see on TV? The guy fishing?
What guy?
The guy in TV.
River Monsters? Yeah,
I love it too. Let it go, let it go.
I think he has a little bit too much coffee before rocking his routine.
Hey, fellas, you got to have a guy like that, don't you?
You have to.
Yes.
He makes the game fun.
Here's Gerardo 1-0, good swing. And guys, as much fun as you had, and as gifted as you guys were, and privileged, and the hard work you all put in to play at this level, it's still, we talk about the grind, it's still monotonous at times, day after day, stretching, clubhouse, same faces, same guys. You need somebody who lightens the mood, who you look forward to seeing, just because you never know what's going to come out of his mouth, and he's off the wall a little bit, and he's all about team and all about the right thing.
Yeah, but he's also offering bits of advice. We showed it earlier in the open with what he said to Trevor Story. Have fun in your at-bats. You're here.
This is popped up. Crawford going out, but it'll be Slater at left.
I think that's a great point, Billy, because, you know, sometimes every player gets wrapped up in their own little world, and you know, what's happening with me, how's it affecting me? But then when you get somebody like Gerardo to kind of put his arm around somebody else and say, come on, we need you, have fun, go out there and enjoy the game. I've said this before, and maybe, you know, I don't know why, I wish I would have enjoyed the game more while I was playing.
No doubt.
Here's a line drive to left center field, a base hit for Ian Desmond. First hit for the Rockies, coming with one out in the second. Well, the wisdom of years, the wisdom of age.
Yeah, and the wisdom of a teammate to help you out.
Sure.
It's just a flat slider Ian made Johnny Cueto pay for. Solid single to left field.
Ball one on Trevor. Story 4 for 15 against Cueto, but 2 home runs. Miss 1-1. Spilly, I'm guessing, I didn't check the numbers, I'm guessing at some point you faced Cueto, didn't you?
I think I did. At some point, I had to.
Because
I mean, we were in the league together at
right.
the same time.
And to me, the pitch, I mean, he's got a live arm, but it's the changeup. Am I right?
The changeup is always an equalizer. If you have a great changeup, it takes hitters off of the fastball, and you put him right in that no man's land, right, Huey?
Yes.
And we're talking about being put in between. When you're not on fastball, but you're not on off-speed pitch, that's what a good changeup does. That's why we always say the best secondary pitch a player can have, whether you're a kid or a college player, is a great changeup.
I think that's the first thing you teach. You know, kids want to learn so much, but hey, teach me a curveball. Teach me, command the fastball. I'll teach you a changeup. And with those 2 pitches, you can get a lot of people out.
League hitting .255 against Cueto's changeup. Cueto last year, Huey, .279 ERA, a whip of 109.
Yeah, and his whip this year is 138.
3 of the last 5 years, he's had a sub-3 ERA.
I don't know if it was earlier this year, maybe last year, you and I were talking about Cueto and how we thought he was one of the more underrated pitchers in baseball.
True A stuff. Always stays composed. 2-2. Now 3-2. Of course, the question always arises, 3-2, down a couple runs, good speed at first in Desmond, but you have a guy in Trevor who swings and misses a lot. So do you send him?
I would give him the green light if you get the jump.
Trevor doesn't hit a lot of balls on the ground, though.
No, but I think if the...
He is going, and it's fouled off.
And that's why I do it. I trust Ian to be able to read it. 11 for 15 in stolen bases this year for Ian.
Ball gets away, and you don't have to worry about him stealing. He's going to move to second base on that failed pick attempt by Johnny Cueto. It'll go down as an E1, I'm sure. Ryder Jones couldn't come up with it, but it was a little bit off target.
Well, Ian was going.
Actually, you know what? That's going to be on Ryder Jones.
Yeah, that's off the end of his glove. That'll be his 4th error. The 77th on the Giants this year. Has to be on Ryder Jones.
They haven't announced it yet, but I think when they watch the replay one time, they'll come to the same conclusion we did. That was actually a perfect pick attempt by Cueto. 2 outs. Tony Walters coming up. Folks, if the Rockies do as they did last night, score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special, lip moss at Taco Bell. Well, right now they've given the error to Johnny Cueto.
I'm just going to leave it in my book as an E3, and when they change it in another half inning or an inning, they'll won't have to worry about it.
I'm not changing mine. That was an error on Ryder Jones. I'm sure he will tell Johnny Cueto just that. See if Tony can come through with 2 outs. Had some knocks against Cueto, 4 for 13. That computes to a .308 average. This is the 62nd start behind the dish for Tony this year. Also has an inning at second base and an inning at third base.
There's that dandy changeup, 83 miles an hour. Perfectly located too on the Subaru strike zone. I mean, that's right at the knees, and that's where it crosses, and by the time you go to swing, it ends up close to your ankles. Why?
That a balk?
Why?
Or is time called?
Just trying to figure out why it was called. Because Ian was getting ready to take off for third.
I assume Tony called it.
No, I think Nick put his hand up.
Oh, Nick did? I missed it then.
Nick
Okay.
put his hand up. Because he saw what was happening at second, so that's why he called timeout.
And this throw into center field by Huntley, and then Desmond, as he was trying to regather himself to head to third, spun out.
Slip. Ball in the dirt. Ian thinks about going, and then he heads back to second. Wild throw by Nick, and then the spin out of second base.
His foot on the bag, I think. The spikes on the bag. That's what he slipped on. Watch his.
Right. Yep. You're right. Right off the edge of the bag. I think as hard as Gorky's was charging, though, at center, I'm not sure he would have been able to get up and go.
Here's the thing that Desmond does, though. He gets guys throwing the ball all over the place.
Right, he got it at first base.
Remember it was about 2 weeks ago, he had a Little League run. He started at first, nobody got a hit, but he forced the other dude. It was a stolen base, then they threw the ball around. Next thing you know, he's in the dugout.
And that's what he provides for you. Yeah, he provides that, hey, you got to watch this guy. Because he might take off. You don't know what he's going to do out there on the base path.
3-2.
He's a career 77% base stealer, 154 stolen bases in his career. This is more about getting a good secondary lead, making Cueto think about you rather than what's happening at the plate.
I like Tony's approach too. He was protecting against the changeup and got the fastball. Yeah. Not this time, as the bat goes flying down the right field line. So the Rockies get a hit from Desmond, nothing else. We go to the third. It's 2-0 Giants. Here's our CenturyLink high-speed challenge question of the night. Go to AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote. We'll show you the results during the post-game show. Hey, are you a fan of Spilly's rally boots? A would be giddy up. That would be affirmative. B, hold your horses. I guess that would be a nay. Get it? Get it, Huey?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And C, you're on the fence.
I'm all A. I'm giddy up with those boots.
Yeah, these things are sweet, right?
Oh, I didn't know they were low. They were low cut.
Oh yeah, they're low cut.
Oh, I thought they.
I'm not sure. So these are Mark Nason. I bought these 10 years ago. They're like a lot of money, but they were half off. I wonder why.
What degree? what degree of sobriety were you in when you bought those?
Mostly sober.
Okay.
I do remember the first time I walked into the clubhouse wearing these, because we have a lot of guys that have legitimate cowboy boots.
Yeah.
And I go, guys, what do you think? And I remember Todd's face. He's like, man, those are the ugliest shoes I think I've ever seen. And then he put them on, and he wouldn't take them off. They're actually they're
comfy, huh?
They're really comfortable.
Here's my thing with cowboy boots, and Huey, you got a bunch. You got a number of pairs.
Yes, I do.
They can look great and they're fun and everything, but in the summer. See, I'm with Spilly. If you wear the low-cut ones, nobody knows. They're below the jeans.
Hey, stop the presses.
They got panic out.
They got him out.
Throw that ball out of play.
Send it to Cooperstown.
Wonder if Butch will take panic out. 1 out. But you know what I mean? The boots in the summer, aren't they hot?
I like to wear these with shorts.
Oh, come on.
Trust me, I could be in LA. I'll fit right in.
Okay.
You will fit in there.
Take him on the road trip to LA then.
I told you that I'm wearing these every single game from here on out.
Good.
They have wins in them. I know they do.
Well, so far they're 2-0, so I'm in. Hunter Pence walked and scored in the first. He's behind strike one. Pence is a Texas kid. You think he's got the low-cut boots?
No. He's got straight up, probably some Justins or Ariats.
A little ostrich.
Maybe a little ostrich.
Outside, 2-1.
These are made out of Bigfoot.
You're priceless, dude. Happy birthday again. 3-1. You look pretty good for the day after, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't go toe to toe like I thought I was going to go.
You didn't open that bottle of wine that Sully gave you?
No. I'm responsible. I'm 38. I'm a man.
No, that's when you're 40 and you live in Stillwater. 3-1 on Pence. Good pitch. 3-2.
You can duplicate that last pitch. That's where you want to go back to. Tried to.
Yeah, it was pretty close to the same spot.
Been just a little bit closer. Yeah, pitch number 6 on the Subaru strike zone, but they're trying to stay away from Pence, make him reach for it.
Playing to Hunter Pence's aggressiveness. That's what I mean. That's a great play. Now the foot race. Pence beat Freeland there. Tell you what, he's in his mid-30s. He can still run.
And for a guy that's had hamstring problems, had to have some surgery on it last year, I think Kyle might have been just a tad late breaking over. Yeah, he was. Didn't break right away.
Last game that cost him when he forgot to go to first. And when you have plus speed, all it takes is that slight hesitation, and Desmond made a great play and doesn't get rewarded with the out. And as good an athlete as Freeland is, and Freeland runs well, if he breaks right away, he's going to be a half stride in front of
It'll make it
Pence.
easier for Ian too. Once he comes up, he doesn't have to wait and say, okay, where's he going to be? He's already knows that he's breaking there, and he can lead him to the bag.
And now Desmond calls timeout to go and talk to Freeland.
This is a little bit about, Hunter Pence at first, but I think it's a little bit about that play that just happened. Yeah, I'm just looking at it from a veteran's point of view. Okay, that just happened. Forget about it. Okay, execute. Yeah, move on. Think about your next pitch.
(1-0) on Hundley, 2-0 on Nick. It takes great focus to be a starting pitcher. Sustain that focus, and also it's not just in game, it's sustaining it for 30+ starts. This ball's yanked foul.
And tonight is start number 26 for Kyle.
Last outing was his shortest when healthy this year. He lasted just 4 innings against Arizona. 3 runs, 5 hits, walked 3, struck out 4.
Just 74 pitches in those 4 innings. That's what ate him up.
Inside, 3-1. Nick got rid of the bat. He's going to have to apologize to Alan Porter on his way to picking up the bat. There's no question that was a strike.
He's apologizing right now, or he's asking, you sure that pitch was a strike? That's why he put his glove over his mouth there. That's a veteran move.
We always point this out. Catchers are in a unique position when they're at the plate because they have to go back behind the plate in a few minutes. Runner going back up the middle, and DJ can't glove it. Pence is going to go first to third. Pence, for a moment, I thought was going to be sent by Phil Nevin. A base hit by Hundley, and it's first and third, one out.
DJ going over. This had some heavy topspin. And Hunter going into third was being held by Nevin. Such long loping strides.
Let me ask you a question. Does DJ take, if Pence isn't running, does he take
a
the
different
same
route?
Yeah, I was
no,
going to say, will he take an angle out to make sure he gets a better hop?
Right, closer towards the grass than he would, because he was coming in towards the bag, and then he had to reroute even to go to that ball. If Pence isn't on, he'll play deeper and get a bigger angle to that, so he gets a bigger hop.
Crawford struck out on a slider his first time up. Freeland was within, a pitch of getting out of that first inning, but Austin Slater, who's on deck, greeted him with a 2-run single with the bases loaded after he had struck Crawford out. One and one.
For Kyle, this extra workload that he has just in this inning, it's part of his doing, where he didn't cover first base. Just little things, nuances of the game. It's not it's not an error physically, it's just a mental error.
Pretty close. Speaking of which, Huey, they during the commercial break they changed the error from Johnny Cueto to Ryder Jones.
Really?
I know you're shocked by that.
I am shocked by it. Shocked that it took him that long to rule it that way.
Bunted in the air. Desmond is looking for a second out. So the Rockies catch a break as Crawford tried to drag a bunt. Instead, he hit a semi-line drive.
Sure, I've ever seen Brandon Crawford with a guy in scoring position square around to try to bunt in all the games we've called against the Giants.
Especially because he has a history, a recent history, the last few years of hitting lefties very well. Now it'll come down again to Freeland against Austin Slater.
Well,
my guess is he's not getting the first pitch fastball.
That's what I was going to say. He ambushed his fastball the first time up.
You got a cutter.
Did he really think he was going to get another first pitch fastball? Obviously he did, because he swung at it. Good call by Tony behind the plate.
That cutter's down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pence at third. Nick Hundley at first. Austin Slater at the plate made his debut this year in the big leagues. He got called up after hitting .321 in Sacramento in 50 games. 5 home runs, drove in 27. Mike Redmond, Stu Cole. Stu handling that infield defense. Here's the 1-1. So Freeland in a good position ahead 1 and 2.
We hope he can throw that slider down and in, maybe.
Good block by Tony. Man, that was a great block. Snap throw to first while he's at it.
Nick laughing about it.
Guys compete their tails off against one another, but it is, as you well know, a big fraternity.
Well, especially the catcher fraternity.
Yeah. And those two guys at first been in the game a long time, Desmond and Huntley. 2-2. Good pitch. He buried a slider. Freeland strikes out Slater. No damage done. 2 men left on for the Giants. Rockies trailing middle of 3, 2-0. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By Bond Fees, it takes all types to save lives, give blood. And by Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. With Jeff Houston and Ryan Spilborghs, I'm Drew Goodman. Glad you are with us. The Rockies looking for a little offense against Johnny Cueto. In the 3rd inning, it'll be Kyle Freeland at the top of the order. Just 1 hit, and Ian Desmond single so far against Cueto. Johnny in his last outing went 5 1/3 against the Cardinals. He left with a 5-2 lead. Gave up only 4 hits. The bullpen had a bad day, shall we say, because at the end of the evening, it was 11-6 in favor of the Cardinals.
Yeah, they allowed 9 runs in the final 3 innings.
Freeland is out, and now the Rockies will reset with Charlie Blackmon again. He had a sharp 1-hopper, also at Joe Panic. Charlie, a rare night. Yesterday he was 0 for 5. Coming off a 3-hit ball game on Monday, single, double, home run. Remember that the fly ball. Well, it was actually, he lost that hit. He went from a 3-hit game Monday to a 2-hit game because we just learned today Major League Baseball flipped that double in the 9th inning, a fly ball that was caught up in the wind and dropped by Mac Williamson as he came racing in with Denard Span. Initially it was scored a double, and they've changed that to an 7.
So it takes an earned run away from Stephen Okert. He still gets a loss, but take that earned run away, take the hit away from Charlie. Still hitting .339, not too shabby.
Leading the National League. Takes another strike, going 2. Charlie's had a good home stand. One and 2. Strikes out Charlie on a fastball up. That time he went with his quicker motion. 4 strikeouts for Cueto.
And you can watch The Drive to the Pennant with MLB.tv every night on every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live. Plus, get a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Visit MLB.tv for more details.
LeMahieu, fly ball to right, and he takes strike 1.
This is just kind of typical Cueto. He'll use a quick pitch, he'll slow you down, he'll speed you up with his motion, the twisting, change-ups. I think he throws more change-ups and some more cutters now than he used to. He used to be more fastballs, and then the change-up would still be there, but pitches a little bit backwards now.
Still can go get 94, 95 when he wants it. Not quite as frequently as in the past. 1-2.
Closing in on 1,800 innings in his major league career.
120 games for Cincinnati in 2014. Won 19 games for the Reds in 2012. 18 last year for the Giants. He gets another strikeout. A 1-2-3 third inning.
Hold on. I think that hit the ground.
That's what Alan Porter's saying. Nick Hundley's almost in the dugout.
That was tough to tell, but Porter immediately called it a foul ball. It did barely hit the end of the bat, and then it went down. It went in the dirt.
Yeah, you can see the ball ever so slightly redirect.
Yeah. Right on the Subaru Supermo. Watch right off the end of the bat. Just enough. Wow.
I don't know how Alan Porter heard that or saw that. So we resume at 2-2 again. They chart everything, Huey. And
yeah.
When he goes quick, how often is it a changeup? How often is it a fastball? Is there any trend when he goes quick? Is it always changeup? That was the changeup.
Yeah, it's too much to compute for a hitter, though.
Yeah. There is a base hit for DJ, so he takes advantage of that foul tip. And Cargo will come up.
14-game hit streak now for DJ, and he's also reached 38 out of his last 41 ball games.
Cargo got hit in the ribs with a pitch his first time up. Batting third tonight. Start of the year, that's where he was slated most of the time, with Nolan behind him. Didn't hold up according to Andy Fletcher at strike 1. I think there's a message in there too for Buddy Black. It's not just, Buddy said, he's done well against Cueto. We want to go left, right, that sort of thing. He's got Parra behind Arenado. Good swing. But I think the message is, I believe in you, and for us to be the kind of team that we know we are, We want you right in the middle of it.
And you've shown me enough since the All-Star break. You know, we talked about what he's hitting and his on-base percentage since the All-Star break, all of that. And so now it's not just 2 or 3, 4 games in a row. You're talking 30+ games. He's starting to see that swing again from Cargo.
And from a confidence standpoint, even for a guy as accomplished as Cargo, it means a lot.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I just feel like he's got the confidence in me again.
Back even, 2-2.
You're right. They're going to need him the next 20+ games. They're going to say, hey, Cargo, we need you to show up. We need some doubles, some homers, some more RBIs from you.
Now it's 3-2. So the good thing is DJ will be on the move if Cargo finds a gap as he did last night. 4 doubles for Carlos in the month of September.
Changeups have come with a 3-2 count from Cueto. So we got Tony on, you got Nolan on it.
Ball 4 from an 0-2 count to a walk. Cargo's been doing more and more of that, and now Nolan will have an opportunity.
We wouldn't have seen that back in May or even early June.
Nolan struck out on a 3-2 pitch his first time.
Already it's an extra 8 pitches after that call with DJ in the foul ball. It was the right call. I'm not saying it wasn't. It was a correct call. Cueto, Nick Hundley thought he was out of the inning.
Rockies with runners in scoring position last night. Really good. 5 for 12. Many of those with 2 outs. Ball 1.
Neat thing too, last night, 8 out of the 9 starters had an RBI.
Yeah, there was good balance, and hopefully there's more of that tonight and ensuing nights. Out of play down the right field line. Nolan hitting .387 this year with runners in scoring position.
Tack on 84 out of his 112 ribbies. 2 with runners in scoring position.
Two balls and a strike. Looks like Nolan's seeing him pretty well.
A little bit better, yeah. Guy higher now in the National League with RISP is Daniel Murphy with Washington. Still hitting over 400, 415.
Crazy. Last year he had an unbelievable year. I think the Mets miscalculated a little bit.
Yes.
With Daniel Murphy letting him walk. Nolan, a .322 lifetime hitter with 21 home runs and 78 driven in 339 at bats against the Giants. DJ at second, Cargo at first. 2-0 Giants. He went.
Field still playing pretty deep for Nolan. Pence in particular in right field. Hernandez and Slater also deep.
He eyeballed that all the way to Hundley's glove. 3-2, you'll get movement again. It's the 4th 3-ball count this inning from Cueto. He's throwing 60 pitches. To your point a moment ago, a foul tip They kept the bat alive for LeMahieu. It's been about 13, 14 pitches.
This will be the 14th.
In the air, deep right. Pence has a play. So the Rockies put a scare in Cueto and the Giants, but they do not score. We'll go to the 4th. It remains 2-0.
Opportunity to make a difference in this world, and you don't, then you're wasting your time on Earth. Before the game, Ian Desmond was announced as the Rockies nominee of the Roberto Clemente Award, as Major League Baseball announced 30 nominees throughout the sport. Ian Desmond is very proud of this award and the nomination, and he wants to reflect what it means to him.
I feel a slight bit of pride in the fact that I've been able to be consistent in that. I've, whether it was 2011, 2012, 2017, I've kind of had those awards scattered throughout the years. So I'm glad and I'm grateful that people, can appreciate that consistency. And, it's something I enjoy. I enjoy giving back to the community. I didn't make it here on my own. None of us did. So for us to be able to give back, it just seems natural to me.
I love what Ian Desmond said. He also went on to say there's certain things you can't control in a baseball game. You can't control the results. You can't control whether you hit a ball and somebody catches it, but you can control how you put your effort out there and what you can do with your time. That's something I think that Rockies fans should learn to appreciate with Ian Desmond.
This is a base hit for Kelby Tomlinson. Cargo got to the baseball down the line quickly. A lead single at the 7-hole from Tomlinson. Well, let me tell you a little bit more. First of all, the Roberto Clemente Award, just to be nominated, is a phenomenal honor. And the public relations department, the community, actually it's not the public relations, it's really the community relations department for the Rockies. It's headed up, has been for years, by Jim Kellogg, who does a tremendous job. And that's where the nomination comes from, because they know better than anybody, the most active players in the community and so on. Last year, for instance, Cargo was the nominee for the Rockies, and only one winner nationally, but just to be nominated by your club is huge. There's Jim, CSU grad, with the Rockies a long time.
Buster Posey was the nominee for the Giants.
0-1 on Ryder Jones. One of the endeavors of Ian Desmond is to help find a cure for neurofibromatosis, and he didn't know a thing about the disease. When I first heard about it, because he tweets about it frequently, as you know, Huey, and I thought, well, maybe somebody in his family, somebody he's real close to, was afflicted by this disease. And in actuality, a young man, 2012, Ethan Brown, from South Carolina, no affiliation with the Washington Nationals, Desmond's team at the time.
Right.
He was an Atlanta Braves fan. he was asking for prayers because he was going to go have surgery, and he in fact got wind of it and started a relationship from there. They ended up meeting. I'll fast forward, save you some of the details. They are now, he's in his early 20s. They are exceptionally close. Desi told me today, they tweeted today, he said, I talk to him almost every day. He said now wherever I go, he seems to become a fan of our team. But Desmond once, before a game in Atlanta, when he met him, here's the 1-2. They were talking about tattoos, and he said, if you get a tattoo, I'll get whatever you get. And he said, but he goes, I don't think you're gonna get one. He goes, I'm plenty tough enough to get one. Look what I've been through. And Desmond goes, touche, you're right. And he got one, Ethan Brown, with the neurofibromatosis
kind of crest,
if you will, that's missing 2 puzzle pieces because they're still trying to figure out how to cure it. And we're trying to get a shot of it, the artwork on the left forearm. You can see it right there. That's a great shot.
Nice
and there's 2 missing puzzle pieces. And so Ethan Brown got one, and Ian Desmond got that same one. Nolan's going to take a look, won't have a play.
Wonderful story, and what a wonderful human, Ian Desmond, to take on that.
It's not a family member. He knew nothing about
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
He was
just
just
take it on.
This wasn't a Nationals fan.
Well, and it shows you the depth of Ian.
So who he is.
Right.
And when he's one of those guys, when Huey, I'm sure you have friends this way, when they say they're all in, he's all in.
Right.
3-2 on Ryder Jones after a leadoff single by Tomlinson. Cueto on deck. Lost him.
Wow.
That's a tough one. So now you have 2 on, nobody out. Cueto will be bunting, and Buddy Black is coming out, not Steve Foster. And he wants the whole
This
infield.
is going to be the play that we've seen a little bit lately, where everybody kind of charges hard. Remember the one Nolan had the other day where he made the air because he came in so hard against Arizona and just bobbled it because they want to get that lead runner at third. But they've worked it to perfection earlier, just a couple weeks ago. But it all comes down, you got to throw that first pitch strike. That's where this preach all the time to pitchers. You've got a special bunt play on. You have to throw a first pitch strike.
Tomlinson at second runs really well. And it's a good bunt by Cueto.
Real good bunt by Cueto. His 4th sacrifice of the year.
He's one of those guys who kind of surprises you at times. He looks kind of goofy at the plate. He's a fun-loving guy.
Finds a way to get it done, though.
Yeah, but exactly. Got it done on the first pitch. So now Freeland really has to bear down here. The infield is in on the corners, back up the middle for Gorkys Hernandez.
I think they'll be back to start with, and then they might come in.
If he can get ahead. He's gotten Hernandez twice on ground balls to the left side. Freeland has thrown 70 pitches with 1 out in the 4th. So again, it's an elevated pitch count for Kyle, as it was in his last outing against Arizona.
He used 8 relievers, and I didn't really count 9 relievers last night, even though Tyler started the game, because he only went 3 innings, and you knew he wasn't going to be able to throw that many.
How many did Boston use yesterday in 19 innings?
Lost track.
3-0. Panic is on deck.
That's the last guy you want to see coming up.
He You mentioned the bullpen. There's going to be bodies moving around in that Rockies bullpen now. Hard shot under the glove of Arenado, and that'll bring 2 runs home. Two-run single by Gorkys Hernandez, firing on a 3-0 pitch.
He snapped an 0 for 14 with that 3-0 swing. Nolan's playing in. This is just hit so hard past him. He could just barely get any leather on it. That's Nolan down, but that ball was scorched.
Now it's 4-0 San Francisco.
Right off the end of the glove on the Subaru Supermo.
Seems lately, whenever the Rockies walk somebody, they score. Tonight, in the first inning, Panic the single, Pence a walk. Both ended up scoring. This inning, Tomlinson a single, Ryder Jones a walk. They have both scored. One out, Joe Panic. Single and a strikeout. And another hit. At first, Hernandez can really run, and he's going to get a green light from Phil Nevin. He'll score. And that may be all for Kyle Freeland. 5-0. Just can't get Panic out.
Now 2 for 3 tonight. Subaru Supermo, a little cut fastball away from him. He's such a good place right now as a hitter. He's using line to line. And then Hernandez with the wheels comes around to score the 5th run tonight for San Francisco.
Tony Walters went out. He's got the slow walk coming back.
Carlos Estevez is getting loose as quick as he can out in the bullpen.
And now Desmond's going to come in. Kyle is not going to throw another pitch tonight.
That's why Joe West is coming even before Alan Porter can get to the mound.
So another tough outing for Kyle Freeland, back-to-back. Rockies down 5-0 to the Giants. Back right after this.
Down 5-0 to the Giants in the top of the 4th. A Brew Fest is back on Saturday, September 16th. Purchase a special ticket special to receive 6 drink tickets and a Rockies themed Brew Fest item. Go to Rockies.com/brewfest for more information. Carlos Estevez is a new pitcher. Came in last night, faced Hunter Pence. He struck him out. Last pitch he threw to him was up in the zone at 100 miles an hour. 5 pitches thrown, 3 for strikes last night. ready to go, and the first guy he gets tonight will be Hunter Pence again.
Always say the toughest thing for a starting pitcher when you have a tough night, unlike a hitter who's going to wait, 25 minutes or so and get up again. Pitcher's got to wait 5 days. Still just 1 out. 3 runs in here in the 4th for San Francisco. They have 7 hits. Estevez against Pence, a walk and an infield hit.
It's 98 at the knees for Hunter.
Strikeout at the strikeout he had the other day was at 100 miles an hour. Good pitch. That's in an unhittable spot.
Prime example in Subaru strike zone. Fastball down and then fastball away.
Panic at second. 1 out. 0-2 on Hunter Pence. Ball was traveling. Sitting on 98.
Nice when you can sit at 98. This is Carlos we saw a lot of last year with the velo.
Slider. Good bite to it. 2-2. I think one of the areas that Kyle will work after his freshman campaign in the offseason is developing a changeup with greater variance than the fastball cutter combination. On the ground to second. DJ will throw out Pence. Panic to third. 2 outs. Now bring up Hundley.
Yeah, for Kyle, his changeup, even his 85, 86 miles an hour, it's fastball 92. If you could take another 2 or 3 miles off of the changeup. Because you know what? Because think about what Antonio is able to do now with the curveball. How he can drop it in there. I think Kyle's arm slot really doesn't lend itself to a curveball because it's more lower 3/4 than Antonio. But when he went to the bullpen, he started throwing that more. And you're right. I think this offseason, you learn about what do I need to do to improve myself, and I think that's one thing that he can figure out, maybe a different grip on his changeup. But all this, I mean, this is invaluable lessons that Kyle is learning at the major league level. It's disappointing at times. You have some highs, you have some lows.
Got a lot of highs.
A lot of highs.
Got 11 wins coming in, and Nolan will take that in the air. 3 runs for the Giants in the inning. Hernandez a big 2-run single. And then Joe Panic, who's had an unbelievable series, a double to score a run. Rockies work to do, down 5-0.
Hondo! What's going on, man? All right. Right there, right there. That boy. He just started creeping in on you a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're good. I should have went to third on that when he threw it to second. I should have still got the foot.
Yeah. Come on, Lo, come on.
Stu Cole doing his thing at third base. He's one of the game's best third base coaches. He really does a terrific job managing guys coming around, making sound decisions, and you're always challenged in this ballpark because it's so big, getting the right reads. And Stu also a really good infield instructor. Been a Rocky a long time. Good man.
Really good guy. Enjoy seeing Stu each and every day at the ballpark. He's another guy that always has a smile on his face. Always upbeat.
Always upbeat. Like the guy in the batter's box right now, Gerardo Parra.
They need to get a couple runs back here in this inning or maybe next inning. You don't want this deficit to continue to climb. Jeff Hoffman warming up in the bullpen now for the Rockies.
Rockies have just 2 hits. Parra, back at Cueto. Desmond has a base hit. Sharp single to center in the second. Billy did the piece on Desmond being honored as the Roberto Clemente nominee, award nominee for the Rockies. There's one from each club. There's a strike. We were talking about his work with neurofibromatosis, NF. He also sits on the board of directors and has done great things with youth complex in inner city Washington, and even though he hasn't played in Washington in 2 years, he's still heavily involved there.
Just tells you the platform that he has and how he uses it.
And you'll see
for the good of everybody.
Right, and you've seen the same thing here in town. You're going to see that continue. He and his wife and his 3 little boys, they love it here in Colorado, naturally. 2-1.
Telling me the other day the oldest one had to go back to Florida because he had to start school. The 2 younger ones are still here.
And they are adorable, man. And they're like they're all spitting images of one another. 3-2.
They're always decked out in all the Rockies gear. They got the gloves. They're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. 1 out. Here's a 3-2. And Cueto's got it going. 5 strikeouts for Johnny Cueto. 2 outs. That'll bring up Story.
And this is what Cueto can do. I know he's missed 45 games. His last outing was pretty good against Cincinnati.
And that ended up being
St. Louis.
That ended up being a loss for the Giants. Now the Giants are having a miserable year. But in the 20 starts that Cueto has made, the club is 10-10. Story on the ground to third, and that eats up Tomlinson. Story's going to get the second easily. See if the Rockies can steal, put that in quotations, a run here.
Tomlinson just boots this ball. Took the right angle to it. You take your right foot to the ball, but it comes up and hits him right off the heel of the glove. Watch on the Subaru Supermo. He worked down, but he just didn't get the correct angle with his glove.
Walters struck out swinging on a changeup. I think this will get changed also. I want Trevor to get as many hits as possible, but it's being scored right now a double. It's not a double in my book.
That's a play when you get the third baseman just going a step and a half to his right.
Inside on Walters. Ryan McMahon is on deck to pinch hit for Estevez.
Tony, this is twofold. You want to drive the run in, but you also want to flip the lineup. Otherwise, you might have to think about a double switch.
Yeah, Huey, you're with me. I was thinking about that, but the one thing that may change Buddy's mind, if it's August or July or June, May, April, yeah, you're going to see a double switch. This goes to the backstop. But because it's September, and yeah, he has a starter up, a guy who's trying to get length out of it, Jeff Hoffman, and he may still do that. But he may go, listen, I got a bunch of guys in the bullpen, and if Tony were to be the last hitter in this inning, he doesn't have to double switch. He can just go one inning. There's no way you're going to have a pitcher down 5-0 hit.
Your only other long guy is out in Cincinnati. I mean, you're right. There's so many different things.
Well, you got Shane Carl now.
Yeah, that's right. You got Shane Carl to be able to do that. But still, you used 9 pitchers last night.
Should mention everybody. Raimel Tapia is back with the club, and some people out there didn't realize. Saying, where's Tapia been? Once Tapia got sent out, he had to stay out. Ground ball up the middle, and panic. He's going to make the play. Once Tapia got sent out, even though Albuquerque's season ended, by rule, he had to stay down for 10 days. So today's the first day he's eligible to be back. 5-0. ARP getting to know a couple of young players. Ryan Carpenter, man, he's ratcheted up the strikeouts in AAA this year, and he won his second PCL Pitcher of the Week award. The left-hander ranks 3rd with a 4.15 ERA, which is something else in the PCL. And Josh Fuentes, who also is Nolan Arenado's cousin, was named the Eastern League Player of the Month for August. He had well over 400. He had over 300 this year.
307
for Hartford.
For Josh.
He is a third baseman also, because if you're in that Arenado extended family, you can only play third base.
Yeah, that's what it says on the birth certificate.
Right. Jonah for the Giants in the minor leagues. His Nolan's little brother also plays third base. Brandon Crawford, a strikeout, and he tried to bunt his way on and hit it in the air to first baseman Ian Desmond. So Estevez, not Hoffman, stays out there.
The thing with putting Carlos back out there for another inning, and depending on how many pitches he ends up throwing, you hope that it's not too many so you don't lose him for tomorrow night in LA. You know, where you're just asking him to come in and get that one hitter like he did last night, or the two hitters back in the fourth inning.
Yeah, in a tight game, say in the fifth, sixth inning, where maybe you're going to need him. And believe me, Buddy,
he's thinking about all that.
Taking account of all of those scenarios. 2-1 on Crawford. Slater's on deck, then Tomlinson. 5, 6, and 7 for the Giants are up 5-0. The book on Kyle Freeland, 3 1/3. 5 runs, 3 earned, 7 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. That is to a vacant area on the left side, a base hit. Folks, earlier, we have failed to mention this, it was an afternoon ball game. The Rockies, big Cincinnati Reds fans the last 72 hours. Cincinnati, Brian Price's club, win again. They beat Milwaukee 7-1 this afternoon.
Swept them.
Neil Walker had a home run in the first for Milwaukee. That's all they got.
It's on the mound, and the ball jumps out.
There was some home runs hit in this game.
This is Zach Kozar.
Peraza hit one, his 5th of the year.
So the Reds helped the Rockies out in a big way. Billy got hurt, didn't he?
Yeah, hurt his finger on a bunt attempt.
Now the Rockies will be studying that Cardinal game that's underway in San Diego. Nationals beat up the Marlins 8-1. On Austin Slater.
Milwaukee has an off day tomorrow, and then they go into Chicago this weekend for a 3-game set. Milwaukee has 10 home games left, 12 out on the road.
Alan Porter says that's a strike, 1-2.
Just kind of looking at all those wild card teams. St. Louis has 23 games remaining, 13 at home, 10 out on the road. Arizona, 13 home games, 9 out on the road. Rockies are kind of just the opposite. Only 9 left at home, 14 on the road.
Strike 3. Slater went. 1 out. And wouldn't you know it, Milwaukee and St. Louis have one more series against each other. And that is the last 3 games of the year.
St. Louis still has to play the Cubs 7 times. And Milwaukee still has to play the Cubs 7 times.
The Cubs are playing their best baseball of the year by and large.
Did you see St. Louis today picked up Juan Nicasio?
Well, he got to Philadelphia from Pittsburgh.
Right, but they just picked him up today. Won't be eligible for the playoffs, but they picked him up just because with Trevor Rosenthal going out, they needed somebody on the backside of that bullpen.
Loud fastball in, ball 1 on Tomlinson. The discussion, about all of the other teams that are close in the wild card chase, it still will come down to the Rockies and how they play.
No
They're
doubt.
in the driver's seat. Huey, I still believe it's 86. I think 86 gets you in. Rockies are at 74 wins. Tonight is game number 139. So 23 left after tonight.
You gotta go 12 and 11 then is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, you know, include tonight's game, so play 500 down the stretch. Not a guarantee. You'd like to be better than that.
Well, the 9 remaining home games, you have the 3 against San Diego, and then the final 6 of the year against 3 against Miami, 3 against the Dodgers. You have 14 left out on the road. We know about this next road trip, 4-4 in LA and Arizona. But then you have that 6-gamer where it's 2 in San Francisco, 4 in San Diego.
And those are scary because you've been in that situation. This is a bouncer to third. Nolan to DJ. Tomlinson runs too well. So they're 2 outs. Ryder Jones will come up.
But they are scary.
Because listen, they're playoff games for San Diego and San Francisco. They'd like nothing more than to knock off whatever team, especially a divisional team coming in that has postseason aspirations.
And you got some young kids playing. They're getting their feet wet. They're having a good time. There's no pressure. And when you're not playing for a playoff spot, that's what you want to do. You want to knock somebody off the rung down the ladder a couple notches.
Read a quote from a player in the last couple of days on a team that's just playing out the strings. Said the exact same thing. They had a little bit of success against I forget who it was, against a playoff, looks like a playoff caliber team, a team in contention, and they did some damage, and they talked about it after. It feels good
because that's all you have to play for them at that point.
Ryder Jones, a walk and a strikeout. He scored after walking in the 4th. Rockies in the bottom of the 5th inning will get a pinch hitter for Estevez, and then it'll be Blackman and LeMahieu. We'll get that 3rd look at Johnny Cueto. One and 2. Carlos from the Dominican. He spent a year, his junior year of high school, prepping at a school in West Virginia. This is on the ground to the second baseman LeMahieu. The story, end of inning. For a nice job over an inning and 2/3 by Carlos Estevez. 5-0 San Francisco, middle of 5.
Radio, Rockies play-by-play. Well, he just got back from helping raise money for Paws for Purple Hearts. He attempted to ride across a solo bike ride across Colorado in a venture for veterans. He ended up finishing in 33 hours and 3 minutes. He missed the overall record by 54 minutes, but he set a new age group record for 50 and over. They are currently short of a goal to try to raise over $200,000. You talk about raising good things. Ian Desmond with what he's done. We're talking about Roberto Clemente. I'm wearing one of the shirts that Jerry Schemmel wore. I don't know why they have to be so tight or so small, but what's cool is on the back of this you can put your water. But we're really proud of Jerry Schemmel. I know he put a lot of effort into it, and he's raising a lot of the money, and that money goes to a very good cause with Paws for Purple Hearts.
Absolutely, and Shemmy, I think it was 2 years ago now, did that ride across America. It just took him a week.
So if he ever asks you to go for a bike ride,
yeah, say no.
Say no. Come up with an excuse.
33 hours and 3 minutes straight.
From border to border.
Straight.
Told me he would take 10-minute naps. I said, 10-minute naps? How's that, you know, get your body refueled? He goes, oh, you'd be amazed. After 10 minutes, you kind of, you got a little bounce in your step again.
All I know is he had to go over Monarch Pass.
It's 468-mile bike race across the state of Colorado.
Yeah.
From the west to the east.
Yeah. Jerry is bike riding
He
fool.
is. Every day out on the road, you go down to the weight room, he's pedaling away.
Marista strikes out, pinch hitting. So there's one out in the 5th inning. And that'll bring up Charlie Blackmon. 6 strikeouts for Cueto. Rockies have had a base runner in every inning. They had 2 in the 3rd with 2 outs, and Nolan at the plate. He had a fly ball to the wall and right. Charlie, a ground ball to second, 1 hopper, and he struck out on a high fastball. This ball is lifted to deep right center field, way back, and off the very top of the wall. Blackmon will stop at second with a double. A few feet away from his 34th home run.
Instead, it's his 30th double. Wait around. Slider on the Subaru Supermo. It's pretty well to right center field. A lot of height to that baseball. Oh, wow. 3/4 of the way up that wall out there.
So with 1 out, Charlie at second, and here's LeMahieu. DJ a single to right in the 3rd to extend his hitting streak to 14 games. Giants don't put the Arizona shift on, but Slater's in left center.
I think that I would call this the San Diego shift. This is the first time we saw, you know, where these guys were, the center fielder, left fielder. No, not the Arizona shift.
The thing about it is you see a lot of changeups with Cueto, and that's a pitch that'll get pulled by LeMahieu.
It's an easy pitch to pull. If you're thinking the other way, change up, ball slowing down, your bat speeds up, coming through the zone, you rip it to left field.
See Charlie with 190 hits, 15 north of Ender and Ciarte, 25 more than DJ, who's 3rd in the league in hits. 2-0.
That was a home run cut.
That was a turn and burn.
Yeah, that was the one I'm trying to hit it to left field.
Got to break the ice here, Hewitt.
You have to. You hope it's more than just one.
Ground ball to 3rd. Low throw. Jones came up with it. Young lady say, Cargo, it's up to you. Right now will be with 2 outs. Cargo does not have an official at bat this evening. Hit by a pitch in the first. He was behind 0-2 in the third and worked out a walk. Giants have been shifting on Cargo. Crawford's asking the dugout where they want him right now. The Giant Gold Glove shortstop is settling in almost right up the middle. High, ball 1.
He's been hitting a lot more balls to left center field, right through the gap where leave it vacant right now.
Here's the 1-0. Oh, Johnny steps off. Cargo with a base hit to left center. And around third, here comes Charlie. And Cargo has delivered again. And the Rockies are on the board. It's 5-1. And he went in the area you were talking about.
And then that was like the double that he hit last night. It was like some other swings we've seen where he takes a slider. That was a changeup, excuse me, on the Subaru Supermo. But it was left up, and he drills it to left center field. Charlie scores easily. That's the first marker that you need, but you need another 1 or 2.
Coming through with 2 outs. Nolan a strikeout, and that fly ball to the wall and right. With 2 men aboard back in the third. Tied up, it's 0-1. Cueto's next pitch, Jeff, will be number 90.
Threw 80 in his last start.
We'd love to extend this inning and get him out of there.
Well, the guy that's just coming back off of a flexor tendon mild strain, second start, he's a durable guy, and he can give you 120, 125 pitches when he's healthy and when he's in that routine. I don't think Bruce is going to push him that far tonight.
You would think so. 1-2. That bullpen has been heavily used the first 2 days of this series. 24th bullpen ERA this year in baseball. Two.
Caught a break on the Subaru strike zone.
Yeah, I was looking at that pitch thinking, ooh, that's close.
Yeah.
Alan Porter, that pitch a ball. 3-2. Fargo will be running here. Cueto's given up 1 run with 2 outs in the 5th inning, and yet his ball to strike ratio or strike to ball ratio, it's not very good.
It's not like a typical Johnny Cueto.
51 strikes, 42 out of the strike zone. 3-2.
This will be the 7th pitch to Nolan.
There'll be an 8th pitch. Nolan 40 doubles, 30 home runs. It's his second 40 double season. He had 43 doubles 2 years ago.
Kyle Crick is now up and getting loose in the Giants bullpen.
With the hardest pitch he's thrown tonight, strikes out Arenado. In the inning, the Rockies get a run on the Gonzalez base hit to bring home Blackman, who had doubled. 5-1. Boda pitching performance of the night. Johnny Cueto is done after 5 innings. He just got handshakes in the Giant dugout. He has the lead 5-1. He scatters 5 hits, a run, struck out 7, walked only 1, also hit a batter. Kyle Freeland, 5 runs, 3 earned. Over 3 1/3. The Rockies hope to get after the bullpen, and they hope their bullpen stays strong. They got an inning in 2/3. Very good relief from Carlos Estevez. And now they'll turn to Jeff Hoffman.
Just recalled from Albuquerque on Friday, the 5th time he's been on the roster this year. A couple stints as that 26 guy in doubleheaders. He's not pitched for the Rockies since that game against Atlanta on August 17th. Couple of starts down in Albuquerque. First one not real good. The last one was much better. Now it'll be up to Jeff to keep this game 5-1. The first guy he'll face is Kung Fu Panda, who is in an 0-for-37 streak right now. Tied Johnny LeMaster for the longest in Giants history as he comes up to pinch hit right now.
It's also tied with David Price for the longest current streak of at-bats without a hit among active Major League players or even guys on the DL. And of course, David Price is a pitcher. It's been a rough go for Kung Fu Panda. from the left side against Hoffman. He gets a curveball, strike one. And he's tardy on the fastball.
Drop the curveball. Throws a 94 fastball. Your head's spinning. What's coming next? If you're Kung Fu Panda, you're already in a nasty hole. Not real confident.
Oh, the Rockies want to do more of what they did yesterday against that bullpen of the Giants. In 2 2/3, they scored 4 runs on 8 hits. Strike 3. And now Panda's 0 for his last 38. A good start for Jeff Hoffman. That'll bring up Hernandez. Gorky swung at a 3-0 pitch in the 4th inning, and he smoked a ball off the glove of Nolan Arenado for a 2-run single. 1 for 3. Ball 1. Joe Panic on deck. DJ can't quite reach it. Broken bat single for Hernandez.
Listen, infielder, when that ball's hit off the end of the bat, you're thinking, well, do I stay here and try to time my jump, or do I drop step and try to catch it over my shoulder? So you really in between. How hard's it hit? You know you probably can't run back and get it. DJ ever so close on the Subaru Supermo, but that's what happens when it's right off the end of the bat. You know, if he squares it up, you could say, okay, the only thing I can do is jump up, like jumping for a rebound.
Kind of a tweener.
Yeah.
Panic, 2 more hits tonight. Got 9 in the series. Hitting over 600 at Coors Field this year.
Coming into the game, in his last 14 road games, he was hitting .442.
That's fair also. This is remarkable. Hernandez will get a green light and he'll score.
It's 3 consecutive games. He's got 3+ hits.
There's Hot, and then there's Joe Panic. Changeup.
But when you're in that zone, changeups look like they just slow down for you. It's just slow motion right now for Joe Panic.
Well, the Giants get that run right back. It's 6-1. Hunter Pence at the plate, 1 for 2 and a walk. Strike 1 on Pence. Ten hits for the Giants. Final game of a 9-game homestand. It's been a disappointing one for the Rockies. They're 3-5. It'll be their 2nd consecutive sub 500 homestand. 2-1.
With that victory last night, it's just the first time since the beginning of August that they'd won back-to-back ball games.
It's been a while since they've won 3 in a row. They need to produce quite a comeback tonight. There's still 12 outs to work with offensively, and it'll all be against that much maligned Giant bullpen. 3-1 on Pence. It's early August, the last time the Rockies won 3 in a row. Beat the Mets and then 2 straight against Philadelphia, the 3rd through the 5th of August. Ball 4.
Where are those pitches?
They look like they're all in the strike zone is where they are.
The kids big and small, be sure to visit the Aero Arcade presented by Aero Electronics. It's located in the interactive area on the main concourse in center field.
Nick Hundley reached on an error by Nolan in the 1st, singled in the 3rd, lined out to Nolan in the 4th. Here's Hoffman's delivery. Nick signed a 1-year deal with the Giants in the offseason. Popped up. This has been an infield fly. Second out, and that'll bring up Crawford. Billy, where art thou? Oh, you're back. You're back in your spot.
Yeah, it's time.
It is time.
It's time.
The rally scoreboard.
Yeah. And tonight I'm going to talk to Hunter Pence again.
No.
But I'm going to overwhelm him with kindness.
That's a different strategy, but every time you talk to him, good things happen. So
I know, that's why I'm saying going opposite.
Yeah, just engage him. This is looped down the left field line. This is trouble if it's fair, and it lands on the line, wouldn't you know it. Another run scores. Crawford with a bloop single to score panic, and it is 7-1.
Good pitch, bad result. Jams him bad, but then landing right on the line. Just sits right down in no man's land. 69th ribby for Brandon Crawford on the year.
Austin Slater drove in 2 of the base hit in the 1st, 2 strikeouts since then. Hoffman's curveball misses, ball 1. Away from Tony, so Crawford in a scoring position. That'll be a pass ball. The last 2 games have been clean. Tonight, sloppy. It's not just the one error. Kyle Freeland didn't get over, and that allowed Hunter Pence to reach in the 3rd, if you remember. No damage ended up being done there, but there's more pitches thrown for Kyle. Nolan had a rare miscue in the first, which was costly. Two 2-0 on Slater. 3-0 on Slater.
And the tempo of the game too. This really is slowed down. Try to stay engaged in defense too when this happens, but it's hard to keep that mojo going.
That's a strike 3-1. Giants got 2 unearned runs in the first, kind of set the tone for things. There's talk about stealing momentum back. The Rockies did a little bit with the run scoring hit by Cargo to make it 5-1. You wanted to see the Rockies have a quick top of the 6th inning. It's been anything but. Cargo will get there, and that's the final out. But 2 runs for the Giants, and they extend their lead to 7-1. Spilly, get it going for the scoreboard, please.
Hard facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. On this date in baseball history, September 6, 1995, Cal Ripken Jr. played in his 2,131st consecutive game, breaking Lou Gehrig's record for most consecutive games played. Ripken Jr. currently holds the record at 2,632 straight games played. Huey, you were there for that. I remember that. I remember exactly where I was. I was a little kid watching it, and it goes down as one of my favorite moments. You were an old man. Tell me about that day.
It was a special day because, you know, I've been fortunate to play in some no-hitters and all this other, but this was a build-up from spring training. And you knew when the date was going to be and how it was going to go down. The interesting thing about it is we were playing the Angels. They had 4 left-handers in their rotation, only 1 right-hander, Sean Bosky, and I was platooning with Jeff Manto. I got to start that night because it was a 1 right-hander, and what a special night it was to be part of that.
I couldn't believe he hit a home run in that, too.
I know. It was so wild because he wasn't feeling well that day either. And then, but what the cool thing about it is he takes the lap around the field. You know, finally had to push him out of the dugout. He takes the lap around the field, and all the Angels players are coming out of the dugout to give him a high five and handshakes.
It's still one of those remarkable records. There are records, and then there are records that just make you shake your head.
I mean, it hit a home run, and everybody was just like, come on. You couldn't have scripted that. And then when they unfurled those numbers on the warehouse in right field, that gave you chills.
Kyle Crick is in there against Gerardo Parra. 2 strikes on Gerardo.
And I've told the story before too, because I played third base that night, and I caught the very first out of the ball game. And I remember standing underneath the ball, and one of the rare times I was like, oh God, just don't drop it, because there's 40 million people watching you.
Yeah.
One of those type of minutes.
On you. There's a lot of eyeballs tonight, right? Do you have any memorabilia from that ball game?
Yes, I do. So that game, it was a special ball that they used. It had black and orange stitching, had the number 8 on it. So I got a ball from that. Every inning or every half inning you go out to the field, Scotty Erickson was there on the team too. He would say, okay, grab the ball that the umpire rolls back out to the mound, throw it into the dugout so we can hopefully get a souvenir for everybody on the team. So yeah, I got Cal to sign a baseball that night, a game-used ball that night.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Hey, Huey.
Yeah.
How much after the record, after he broke it, when he finally took a day off, what was that sense of relief for him?
You know what? For him, I mean, the record did start to consume him after a while. But when he decided that was it, that was it. There was no...
Did you ever ask him, did he ever have second thoughts? I mean, when you did it so many times in a row, you probably said, yeah, I could go do it again. I mean, at that point.
Right. And I think about it now because the leader now is Alcides Escobar, who's played 308 games. 308, that's it.
No one will ever come close.
There's only
to that.
6 guys in the major leagues right now that have played every game this year. 6.
How about the list of injuries that he played with?
I remember there was a brawl one time, and I forget who it was with. There was a brawl, and he hurt his knee in the brawl. And he really thought he was not going to be able to play the next day. But he somehow gutted it out.
That'd be the worst way to have it end.
He got his knee twisted in the pile.
3-2 on Parra. Desmond on deck. Rockies need to stack some at bats. This will be a ground ball to Panic, 1 out. I remember watching that, and I was just mesmerized by. I mean, at that point, I want to say it's anticlimactic because you know he started, so you know once the game's official, he's going to do it.
And that's when they put the numbers down.
That's when they put the numbers down. But the fact that he hit a home run too, like, come on, man.
Right. I mean, only Cal.
Yeah.
Only Junior would do that.
You know, as the line goes, if you submit that script in Hollywood, they kick it back, so you can't hit a home run also.
Come on. Like the natural.
Right.
Light, all this other stuff. But it was fun for me, obviously, because being a part of that. But you know, my mom and dad were there. My in-laws were there, who was their anniversary. By the way, happy anniversary. It's their 59th wedding anniversary today.
Happy
Rod and
anniversary.
Sue Anderson and Cheyenne. So happy anniversary. But it was their anniversary that night, too. So my mom and dad, my in-laws, my kids, my wife.
Everybody
could share in that moment.
Do you remember what tickets were going for?
I don't.
1-1 on Desmond. 2-1 on Ian, a base hit and a strikeout tonight.
President Clinton came down in the locker room before the game.
I forgot that. So he was at the game.
He was at the game. So we had to go through metal detectors just to go into our own locker room.
Right field for Pence. Two gone, Trevor Story. Who started that game for the Orioles?
Moose. Mike Mussina.
And did Baltimore win?
Yes.
Of course they did.
Of course.
one more question on that. Did you get a picture with Cal that night?
So we had, yes, I did. But we had this little thing where Rafael Palmeiro would throw the ball in between innings, so he would kind of run a pass pattern, and I would go and act like I was defending him. So we got one where he's reaching over me, trying to catch the ball as it's going down. And after that, somebody comes up to me and says, dude, what are you thinking? You get hurt. You hurt him. You better stop. So that is the one picture I have from that night. Is Cal going up for to catch the ball, and I'm like playing defense on him.
So they didn't call interference on you. CSU fans saying offensive interference.
Yes.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Story. Crick works a 1-2-3 6th inning. We move to the 7th. The Giants up 7-1. Baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. We are in beautiful lower downtown Denver. The Giants lead the Rockies 7-1. That's not so beautiful. In the 7th inning, it'll be the 2nd inning of work for Jeff Hoffman. He'll see Kelby Tomlinson, Ryder Jones, and perhaps Kyle Crick will get an at bat. We'll see. Cardinals, Padres still scoreless and now in the 4th at Petco. Dodgers and Arizona at 1-1 in the 3rd. Arizona won again last night. Took them 10 innings. Final score 3-1.
Walker against Maeda in LA.
I read an interesting piece today about hot teams, cold teams entering October baseball.
What's the correlation?
There is none. In other words, you know, people want to attach a lot of significance to the team that finishes in a flurry. Oh, they're the hot team going into the postseason, or a team that kind of stumbles. Tough play for Nolan. Tomlinson can run out at first base. Nolan just did get Kelby Tomlinson.
He needed every bit of that arm strength to get the speedy Tomlinson. Chopper, he's racing out of the bag. Nolan sidearm, hard throw right on the money to Ian.
Got him.
Yeah, he did.
Here's Ryder Jones. You know, but the teams that did not play well in the final 10 days, they did it two ways. They looked at the final 10 days of the season. They looked at September in its entirety.
Do you remember how far back they went?
They went back about, I want to say about 14, 15 years. And it's what players know. Momentum is next day starting pitcher. And also when you get to October, it's about everybody 0-0. They're not going to, you know, the Dodgers, however games they win, they're not going to say, hey, well, listen, we're going to give you 3 in the first for a wonderful regular season. Doesn't work that way. There have been times.
Well,
listen, the Rockies are a great
07,
example.
yeah.
07, they were hot, clearly, the final 2 weeks. They carried it forward. That's an example of a team that it did work for. But remember, St. Louis barely got in, and they ended up winning the World Series. They won like 83 games. The Giants last year were a bad second half team. Great first half, bad second half, barely get in, and they gave the Cubs all they wanted.
No doubt, and you're right.
One obviously the wild card.
It's 0-0 when you go to that first game in the playoffs. That's why you hear managers say the toughest part is the 162 games. You know, because you got to manage injuries and ups and downs and cycles. You get to the playoffs, now it's the best 3 out of 5. Now in some cases it's just 1 game in the wild card, but after that it's best 3 out of 5 and then 5 out of 7.
Hoffman with a fastball to strike out Ryder Jones. 2 outs.
Mac Williamson pinch hitting Stephen Okert.
Now, would it be nice to be playing your best baseball late in September? Sure. But honestly, it doesn't mean a ton. That's where the resiliency of baseball players is truly on display also. Mac Williamson pinch hitting, fouls it off.
We talk about the marathon that is the baseball season. The highs, the lows, the injuries, the inconsistencies, the winning streaks, the losing streaks. I mean, you have to.
The slumps, the hot streak.
Right, and mentally grind through games and weeks, series.
This ball's well hit to right center field. This is going to get on out for Williamson. Hits it to the back wall of the Rockies bullpen. It is 8-1 Giants. So a pinch hit home run for Williamson. Second career pinch hit home run for Williamson.
First one this year. Oh, he gets a fastball. He tomahawks that one to right center field. Knew when it left the bat that it was going to go. And that loud sound. Takes it off the back wall of the Rockies bullpen.
Gorky's Hernandez, a strike at the knees. Second home run this year for Williamson. He only has a little more than 40 at bats in the big leagues in 2017. Hernandez is 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. It's playable for Desmond. Williamson's home run makes it 8-1. Stretch time at Coors Field.
Trail right now, 8-1 in the bottom of the 7th. And the Rockies Make an Impact program is a free elementary school assembly that will entertain students while showing them how to make an impact on their lives and communities. Call 303 Rockies for more information. Pitch for the Giants is the left-hander Stephen Oakert.
And the Rockies have 8-9-1, Huey. Tony Walter's scheduled. He's not going to take the at-bat. Pat Valaika will pinch hit for him against the lefty. And we'll get another pinch hitter in the pitcher spot.
Oakert took the loss on the game on Monday.
You see Tommy Murphy come out. Somebody's going to have to go behind the plate. And now Tommy Murphy is coming out on deck.
Get 3 out of the 4 starters for the Dodgers in the LA series are left-handed.
That begins tomorrow night with Kershaw. What you got going, Spilly?
You got a 1?
For the Pods.
Nice work.
Two on Valaika. This ball's hitting the air to left near the line. And no one makes the catch. Slater was eyeballing the baseball, and his 2 teammates, Tomlinson and Crawford, make sure there wasn't a collision, so Valaika will get a second life.
He's also kind of eyeballing that wall after missing a lot of games with the leg injury. Make sure he was not going to get hurt by the wall.
On and missed. Oakert strikes out Valaika. First out in the 8th inning, and that'll bring up Murphy.
Pitching for the Rockies in place of the pitcher, number 23, Tom Murphy.
Outside on Tommy.
4th time this year Tom's been called upon to pinch hit.
Murphy, a line drive to 3rd. Tomlinson makes the catch. And that'll bring up Blackman. Charlie nearly at a home run, would have been his 34th in the 5th inning. Hit a double off the very top of the wall in right center field. The score on a Cargo single, the only run for the Rockies tonight. They have only 5 hits, and this ball's pulled foul.
Charlie also has to get some new lumber.
That off the end of the bat. Somebody tweeted in, as you were recounting the stories of that night, that Cal Ripken broke the Ironman streak, Lou Gehrig consecutive game streak. They were bartending at a place in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Oh yeah.
and it was standing room only. It's packed. The whole nation was captivated.
I just remember what it was like in the city of Baltimore that night. Sold out crowd, 47,000 plus.
That is gone. That's not going to hit any wall. Second deck shot for Chuck Nasty. His 34th.
It's also his 61st multi-hit game.
And it came after an evening when a real rare occurrence took place, and that was Charlie going 0 for 5.
That wasn't going to last.
8-2.
He fouled one off, and this time he does not miss a slider. Wow, what a swing from Charlie.
That was loud and proud.
Yes, it was. Back into the second deck.
Bruce Bochy's going to bring in the right-hander, Garrett. Will step aside. Out of baseball because Charlie just hit one in the second deck.
Come to the ball game, you're hoping to get a baseball. Not sure if you're going to or not, but you're sitting 450 feet away from home plate. But he did, because that's how far Charlie hit that ball.
Always bring your glove.
That's
man.
right.
Never know.
I don't care how old you are. You bring your glove.
Don't spray it. It's
I like it. It's okay.
Yeah. Corey Guerin against DJ. DJ base hit in the third. 1 for 3.
Corey was the pitcher that walked Carlos on Monday for the walk-off walk.
Ball and a strike on LeMahieu. Be a late night for the Rockies. To Los Angeles after the ball game. Tomorrow night they open up a 4-game set. It'll be John Gray against Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw's second start since returning from the DL. Rockies want to keep that Dodger team in a tailspin.
Hey, Spilly, he signed the inside of the scoreboard. Didn't even put the date on it. a couple days ago.
I didn't realize. I figured
that was the only time you're going to be out there.
No, I'm here every day. This is the best spot in baseball, except when we're striking.
Run in the inning, Charlie Blackmon, 450-foot home run, club leader in home runs and many other categories with 34. 8-2 Giants. AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by the Wyoming Office of Tourism, Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why. TravelWyoming.com. Traveling through the auxiliary scoreboard at Coors Field. Manned tonight and all series long by our Ryan Spilborg. Well, he's kind of an apprentice down there. Rockies turn now to Shane Carl. He made his major league debut back in April, throwing an inning in San Francisco against the Giants. He worked primarily out of the bullpen all season long in Albuquerque. Did make 3 spot starts there. Carl will get his second dance on a major league mound. Here in the 8th inning, it'll be Joe Panik, Hunter Pence, and Nick Hundley.
Bud was talking about Shane and the success he had down at AAA. They want to just get his feet wet again up here at the big league level. Part of the plan as they go into the offseason, move forward to next year. He's getting a chance to show his stuff. Acquired Shane from the Pittsburgh Pirates back in 2014 and sent right-hander, remember Rob Scahill, went over to the Pirates in exchange for Shane Carl.
Here's the 0-1 to Panik, who has 10 hits in this series. 3 on Monday, 4 last night. He's got a single, an RBI double.
Even if he didn't get
another RBI double in this game,
a hit the rest of the week, he still is going to be up for Player of the Week honors with the 10 hits in 3 games.
Yeah, you're right. One and 2. Again, you see in the background, Cincinnati this afternoon beat Milwaukee 7-1. So right now, Milwaukee's 3 behind the Rockies for that final wild card spot. The Cardinals began the day 3 back also. They trailed the 5th 1-0 in San Diego. Arizona and the Dodgers, they're tied at 1 in the 4th.
Arizona and Milwaukee off tomorrow. St. Louis is still in San Diego. They have a 4-game set in San Diego.
Giants are headed to Chicago to take on the White Sox.
They have an off day tomorrow.
Joe Panic, former All-American at St. John's, and he's got his 4th hit of the night. I don't know if I've ever seen something like this. It's been a while.
Back-to-back nights where you have 4 hits.
And 11 hits in 3 games. He's 11 for 14 in the series.
Came into this series hitting 267. He is now 284. I mean,
this time of year to
that's
move
what
up
I'm saying.
That many points.
It's over 440 now. 443 at bats. 444 at bats. And to move up that many points.
Very unusual. 0-1 on Pence. 0-2 on Pence.
You can go ahead and read this number, what he's hitting in this series.
He's hitting 785. You haven't seen that in a while?
Well, not since the kids played Little League.
How many guys you know who hit 785 in Little League?
Maybe one kid.
Yeah, the coach's kid, or the guy who's keeping the scorebooks kid, right?
Everything's a hit.
1 and 2. Murphy with the block. You watch, you'll go to Chicago, go 0 for 14.
See, where was that?
Cruel game.
It is.
1 and 2. Rockies like Shane Carl.
They should. Good arm.
Good arm. Got a heavy cutter.
495 on the fastball.
That's a good pitch also. Good location. That breaking ball. This may be playable for Desmond. It will be. 1 out. And that'll bring up Huntley.
So you're saying if Joe Panic goes 0 for 14 in Chicago, he would still hit 393 for the week.
That's what I'm saying. Crazy, right?
Amazing.
Huntley's 1 for 4. And that is a hanging breaking ball that was hammered out of the ballpark. A 2-run home run for Huntley. His 7th of the year. And it's 10-2.
27 ribbies for Nick. Well, as soon as this ball was hit, I watched Shane. He just kind of went down and said, I just hung a curveball, belt high. And Nick just drops the bat, puts his head down, and needs to see where it lands.
Ball went 445 feet. Strike one on Brandon Crawford. Crawford's 2 for 4. 14 hits tonight for the Giants.
The only inning they have not had a hit, that was the second inning. Only inning the Rockies retired him 1-2-3.
Just notice Cleveland won again tonight, Huey.
14 in a row?
That's 14. They won 5-1 in Chicago on the south side against the White Sox.
They are now 83-56. 20 games above 500 on the road.
We were in Kansas City, what was it, less than 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And the Royals were playing very good baseball, and they were talking about Ed Yost. So we're not trying to get a wild card spot. We're trying to win the division. Well, I think they're going to have to redirect their thoughts now. That division is done. 3-2. Foul tip held by Murphy, and Crawford is out number 2 in the 8th.
Kansas City 13.5 games back.
Read something else in the last 11 days, Jeff.
Yep.
The Diamondbacks have shaved 9.5 games off the Dodger lead in the division.
The Dodgers have lost 11 of 12.
And of course, we all know the Diamondbacks haven't lost in a couple of weeks. Now, still having said that, this gives perspective on how great a year LA's had. There's a slider for a strike. The Dodgers are still 11.5 in front of Arizona. 18 up on the Rockies.
Arizona tied a franchise record with their 12 straight victories.
1-1 in the 4th at Dodger Stadium. Arizona and LA.
Dodgers with their 92 wins. The next closest team is Houston at 85 wins.
Remember that 2 weeks ago they were on pace for 120 wins, and now you have to scale that back considerably. Two strikes on Slater way inside. Well, this day get off on the wrong foot for the Rockies. They gave up 2 unearned runs in the 1st inning. You knew it wasn't going to be easy when you're facing a guy like Johnny Cueto. LeMahieu pulls it to his chest. That's the 3rd out in the 8th inning. Single by Panic, his 4th hit of the night. And then 2 hitters down the road. Nick Hundley hit one in the seats and left, 10-2.
We've given up. It's rally time, and fans are putting themselves on the line for this Rockies rally. Sitting next to me is Chris. Chris, are you willing to rally?
Oh, yeah.
Good. It's rally time! Macaroni to the face!
Oh, boy.
Oh, my goodness.
Only you, Billy. Nice
You
job.
could get somebody to do that.
Corey Gearin against Cargo. And Cargo lathers this ball to center field. And this thing was hit so hard it's going to run all the way to the wall. A double for Cargo. So he returns to the 3-hole tonight. And the one bright spot on what's been a rough evening for that kid and also for the Rockies. Cargo returns to the spot. He has over 2,200 at-bats, and he's 2 for 2. He's driven in the only run for the Rockies, and he has reached 4 times.
And this is classic Cargo again. I mean, this ball was squared up, had the top spin. It's so hard off the wall, he gets a double. That's right, it hit by pitch. The walk he had, he was patient, fell behind. Now 2 hits.
Nolan is 0 for 3, couple strikeouts. You know, there's something to hitting third. Historically, the best hitter on any team, the best all-around hitter, is going to hit third. And again, Cargo, the vast majority of his big league at-bats have been there. Pence in right. Cargo will tag. The last time he had hit third in the ball game was in early June. June 11th against the Cubs at Wrigley. Tonight, just the 13th time all year he's hitting that spot. Tomorrow may be different when you're starting to put that lineup together because the Rockies are facing Clayton Kershaw.
Well, the last time they did that too. Remember, they put Pat out, I think, in left field in that game. Leica. I'll have to look at the numbers for Cargo.
Parra just missed this one. Center field. We'll get a run home though. Cargo waits and he'll cruise in. Gerardo with a 65th RBI. It is 10-3. Let's take a look at the probables in the series in Los Angeles beginning tomorrow night. The Rockies will send John Gray to the mound against Kershaw, who's, even despite missing all that time, is still 16-2. He may still win the Cy Young this year.
He's the only guy that has gotten the win for the Dodgers when he went up against the Padres.
Yep, they lost 5 in a row, and then they got him on the mound. He threw 6 shutout, and then they lost 5 in a row again. German Marquez will go against Yu Darvish on Friday. Bettis against lefty Alex Wood, who's 14-2. And then the Rockies, see how they fill out their rotation on Sunday against Rich Hill.
Might be Chatwood again.
Bouncing ball through the left side. Crawford had a nice effort, but it's a leg hit for Desmond, a second hit of the ball game.
Just to get to that ball is Crawford. Some range. Tomlinson couldn't get to it. Desi, you knew, was going to leg out the single.
Trevor Story credited with a double in the 4th inning on a ground ball off the backhand of Kelby Tomlinson. 2 strikes on Trevor.
Just looking at the stats for Cargo against Clayton Kershaw. He's 9 for 40, 225, but he does have 2 home runs, 6 RBIs.
Those numbers is you know,
it's crazy as it sounds.
You know where I'm going. It's actually not bad
Not
against
at all.
Kershaw. This baseball hits well below 225 against him. I guarantee you most lefties hit about $110 against him. He and Charlie may be the only 2 left-handed bats in the lineup against Kershaw. Story fouls that off.
Lefties this year against Clayton are hitting 245. Right-handers 180.
Who would have figured that?
I know. I had to look that up and do a double take.
Probably not many at-bats by lefties, but still.
You know, 110 at-bats compared to 423 at-bats to right-handers. They're slugging higher. Their OPS is higher.
Put up the lefties tomorrow. Tapia, you're in there. Gerardo. Rockies have put together some good games against Kershaw. And you in turn, as a starting pitcher, John Gray knows there's not a lot of margin for error. Figure to get a crooked number against him, so you got to throw a bunch of zeros up yourself.
Clayton had high praise for the Rockies earlier this year. So, you know, they're going to give you tough at bats. They're going to battle.
So the Rockies hit all those home runs against him here at Coors Field. 3-2 on Story. Desmond will take off with the pitch, and a called strike 3 will end the inning. Cargo ripped a double to begin the inning. He would eventually score on a Gerardo Parra sac fly. 10-3 as we go to the 9th.
The game is gone as the Giants lead the Rockies 10-3 as we go to the 9th inning. Toyota postgame show is on the way. Mark Stout and Corey Sullivan. Johnny Cueto, we wanted him to be Johnny Cashed, as in cashed in, but looks like he's back. You know, he's
I don't want to say he's back, but he did a pretty good job changing up
speeds. He's one of the best active pitchers in the game.
His changeup was really, really good, and I think he got a lot of swings and misses on pitches out of the strike zone. Not a lot of discipline for Rockies hitters. Good news is Carlos Gonzalez, what he did at the plate today, showing good signs of life. They're going to need it going to LA, going to Arizona, and Charlie, obviously.
Yeah, Chuck's a machine.
He is.
He kept it going with a couple of extra base hits. We'll see what happens here as we get to the 9th inning, and we go to Drew and Huey, guys.
All right, Mark, we appreciate it. Kelby Tomlinson in the top of the 9th inning. Second inning of work for Shane Carl. Gave up a 2-run home run in the 8th to Nick Hundley.
There's just a pause here. You wonder what's going on. The clock out in right center field that kind of gives you the time in between innings. Hasn't reached 0 yet. And go. You can pitch now.
Ooh.
I ducked up here.
And yeah, it made me nervous. Tomlinson, a line shot back through the originator. He's at first for Ryder Jones. Jones tonight 0 for 3, walked and scored back in the 4th inning.
There's a lot that's happened in this game to make it 10-3, but I thought that walk in that 4th inning, you know, Kyle was ahead and threw 3 balls and ended up walking him. Kind of set that whole domino for that inning. Ended up scoring 3 runs.
Jones pulls this one fair into the right field corner. It'll be a double, and now every position player in the Giants lineup has a hit. 16 hits tonight for San Francisco. Pinch hitter coming for the Giants. It's going to be Orlando Calixte. He came up from AAA Sacramento on Sunday. Been back and forth all year. 6 for 34 at the big league level this year. 16 games with the Giants. 283, 14 home runs in AAA. So one would assume that these two have seen each other this year.
PCL.
Calixte is gone.
Shane went with the curveball on the last pitch.
Sixth at bat for Gorkys Hernandez. 2 for 5. Couple ribbies. He has scored 2 runs.
To tonight's game, just 1 for his last 20. His last 8 games.
Good looking pitch. 1-2 on Hernandez. Joe Panik's on deck. He's had a decent series.
Yeah.
Second big league appearance for Carl. Both have come against the Giants. Two and two. Evan.
What's up, Phil?
Move out of the way.
Son Tyler had a pretty good second half for the Rockies.
Outstanding second half. He's still filling out. Phil's a big guy. Talking to Billy Schmidt, director of scouting, vice president of scouting for the Rockies. Really pleased with where Tyler is. Ground ball to third, and Nolan gets a tag, goes to first, not in time. 11th run scores, an RBI for Hernandez, his third of the day. That will bring up Ted Williams, but first our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. It's Joe Panik or Ted Williams, whichever you prefer. He has 11 hits, folks, in the series. We have time to only show you the 4 that happened today. He scored 3 runs. He's driven in 2.
So I went back to my book on April 14th. You said, you know, Shane Carl making his debut against the Giants. The first guy he faced, Joe Panik.
Is that right?
Yep. Fly out to right field.
He owns him then.
Right.
1-1.
Panik was 0 for 4 that night. He was also hitting 8th in that game.
I'm telling you, 50 years from now, Joe Panik's going to tell the story to grandkids about the weekend. It's not a weekend. That's his 5th hit. The 3-game set he had at Coors Field. 12 for 15. 12 for 15.
Your kids play video games. Mine do. I'll have to ask him, have you ever been 12 for 15 playing a video game? Even with the cheat codes and all the other stuff that you can find out, know where the pitch is coming.
That just said a Giant. The Giant's been around a little bit, right?
Yeah, right.
1900, whatever, 1902. That's a new 3-game record for the Giants. They've never had a player have 12 hits in a 3-game series. It's his second career 5-hit game.
Three hits on Monday, 4 last night, 5 tonight.
Hunter Pence, 1 for 3, 2 walks tonight. And Pence strikes out against Carl. Another run and another hit for Joe Panik. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. San Francisco up 11-3. They've out-hit the Rockies 17-8. Who Wants Tacos fans? Follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs in a ball game. Sam Dyson is going to handle the 9th inning for San Francisco. He's done a nice job for them. Picked up earlier in the year.
He's been 12 for 13 in save situations, so not too shabby for the Giants. And then tonight to get some work in.
He was acquired back in early June from Texas for a player to be named later because Texas was designated him.
Like the way he was throwing, they thought the arm was still there. That's when San Francisco worked out the deal. Mike Talkman will pitch it.
Yeah, this is the pitcher spot, the 8-hole with Murphy on deck. Pinch hit and stayed in the ball game behind the plate, so it'll be Talkman, Murphy, and then Blackman. Unless,
maybe,
yeah, unless with the score the way it is,
might be McMahon.
Yeah, but he may give one of the youngsters an at bat. Mike bounces his foul. 2 strikes. Well, for whatever reason, Wednesday's been a problematic day of the week for the Rockies. They are over 500 every single day of the week but Wednesday. They're 9-11 on Wednesday. Staring at 9-12. But Thursdays, folks, Thursday's been good. 10-6.
Fridays are game over. Saturday they're a couple. Sunday they're 3 games over.
Good on holidays, official holidays this year. They're 3-1, including their Labor Day victory against the Giants 2 days ago. 1 out. And that'll bring up Tom Murphy, who lined to third.
Number 23, Tom Murphy.
You want to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the historic 21 of 22 Rocktober run with the 2007 teammates and coaches on Friday, September 15th. You can enjoy a special pregame celebration and more. Go to Rockies.com/reunion for more details.
I'm really looking forward to that. I was talking to Keith Duggar earlier. Rockies' tremendous lead trainer. And he's really excited about seeing some guys he hasn't seen in a while. And I'm sure for all the guys, Spilly and Sully and Cargo's still playing. Well, 07 he was with the Rockies, but I was thinking 19. But anyhow, you know, they don't get to see each other that much.
No.
So it's going to be a blast for those guys.
Still playing. You know, Matty won't be able to make it. He's still playing with the Yankees.
Chris Iannetta, who we just saw.
Yeah. Seth Smith still playing.
We went over the list. Ubaldo.
Ubaldo.
Seth's teammate in Baltimore. 0-2 on Murph. And you called it, Huey. On in the on-deck circle is Ryan McMahon. National League pennant in 07.
Remember the atmosphere and during that run and playoffs, a World Series.
Two gone in the 9th. McMahon will hit for Blackman. Charlie ends the evening 2 for 4, including a home run and a double.
Pitching for the Rockies in place of the center fielder, Blackman, number 24, Ryan McMahon.
Buddy really wants to get Ryan going so he can be that big bat somewhere in the ball game, pinch hitting, being too late.
in one of those roles right now where he's going to get some spot at bats. But 2 days, I think it was yesterday, a couple guys were throwing their bullpen, and he went out there and he was standing in the batter's box as they were throwing their bullpen. I remember one of them was John Gray. Oh yeah, the other one was Herman. And so they were throwing their bullpen. He's standing out there with a bat and his helmet, tracking pitches. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, it's a different role for him. He's used to getting 4 at-bats a night. 2 strikes on Ryan. It's off his foot.
I think it's okay for the pitchers to see that guy standing in there too while they're doing their bullpens.
Two strikes on McMahon. That's down low, 1-2. And on the ground, a panic, and it's fitting that he would field the final out. The Giants have finally won a game at Coors Field this year. They snap a 10-game losing streak here. They finish the season at Coors Field 1-9. The Rockies fall tonight by a final score of 11-3. San Francisco improves to 55-87. The Rockies drop to 74-65. It was just a 3-6 homestand. They'll get ready for the Dodgers in LA tomorrow night. It'll be a late evening flight tonight. And Joe Panik had a historic 3-game set, producing 12 hits for San Francisco. Once again, the final score, the Giants behind 17 hits win 11-3 tonight. To center field we go. And here's Mark and Corey. Guys?
You said you've got a good line.
I do.
I want to hear it.
Tonight, the Rockies pitchers were the Oprah Winfrey of hits. You get a hit. You get a hit. You get a hit. Joe Panik got quite a few hits in this series. We're probably not going to show you them all, but we show you some of them.